Chile is the Congressional Hispanic Leadership Institute. Es un programa en Washington, D.C. y tenemos miembros del Congreso, también compañías que se representan en nuestra mesa directiva para apoyar a estudiantes.
¿Para qué y por qué está organizada este evento del día de hoy?
Chile decidió venir a New Jersey porque queremos apoyar a los estudiantes y también darles las oportunidades para que conozcan compañías, a personas que trabajan en compañías donde pueden aprender más de ciencia, ingeniería, tecnología y la importancia de matemáticas.
Pudimos notar que hay una gran mayoría de estudiantes de high school. ¿Qué puedes decirle tú? ¿Cuál puede ser tu consejo para estos estudiantes que te van a escuchar?
Si eres un estudiante en high school o un padre de un estudiante de high school, lo más importante es que siguen estudiando matemáticas. Primeramente, así se cuenta el dinero, ¿que no? Y también queremos que aprendan la importancia de matemáticas en todo lo que hacemos todos los días. Como compañías, las compañías quieren estudiantes que terminen sus estudios y estén preparados para un buen trabajo, que en muchas ocasiones va a tomar a estudiantes la oportunidad que toman matemáticas y también saben cómo escribir y escribir unas cartas muy bien también.
Bueno, muchas gracias y te agradecemos por esta oportunidad y muchos éxitos.
Muchísimas gracias. Muchísimas gracias a ustedes.
A little bit about myself and background. I came here with a talk about Coca-Cola's global competitiveness and some figures and facts about sustainability. But I think in light of the way this conference is going, I think it's more about understanding what the global world is all about. So I think my story relates to that a little bit. So I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. How many of you think that I would have any type of a Latino background and would speak Spanish? Bueno, solamente la gente que conoces a mí dice que ya sí, ese señor habla español bien. Entonces, well, I see myself as a global person because early in my life I was exposed to different cultures. I lived in a neighborhood that wasn't a very affluent neighborhood. We had neighbors that were from all parts of the world. One of my best friends was Cuban, growing up right next door to me. Had a lot of influences through his family. That's probably where I learned my first words, which were all curse words, of course. But moving on through life, I ended up meeting a very beautiful, lovely Dominican woman. I ended up marrying into a Dominican family, adopting Latino culture into my life, having my children raised in a Latino household. But more so than that, I come from parents and grandparents that were immigrants also. On my mother's side, my grandparents immigrated from Italy. On my father's side, my grandparents immigrated from Germany. And now I'm married to a Dominican woman, so my children are quite worldly, as they have Italian, German, a little bit of Scottish, Dominican, some Turkish blood in them, so they've got a little bit of everything. But I think it's so important that as students growing up, that you open your horizons and look at the world as a playground. There's just so many things out there, so many cultures out there to open up to and experience. And today here in the United States, there's all those cultures are available to you just right here at home. I mean, walk down Kennedy Boulevard and see all the different cultures that are represented there. So I encourage you all to just open your horizons today. Think about what the world means, what it can bring into your lives. It's brought a lot into my life in opening my eyes and raising my children to understand that there's a lot of things out there that we can bring back. Now, on the topic of science, technology, engineering, and math, I'm the Chief Operating Officer for a company that represents the Coca-Cola company in this branding, Kola, but I'm actually an engineer by degree. I went to school right down the road here to New Jersey Institute of Technology and have a degree in mechanical engineering. One of the things that I learned in school that was so important, and one of my professors instilled this in me, and today it stays with me, and I teach other young children, my own children, the same thing. He said, as an engineer, you can do practically any job in the world. You don't have to be a scientist. You don't have to continue on to be, you know, a technical person, although there's nothing wrong with that. And as we heard today, there's a tremendous need for people to work in that field. But here I am, an engineer, and today I sell soda. So go figure, where's the correlation? But the fact that I was taught when I was taking my classes that with this degree, I could do anything, it opened up my eyes to say, you know what, I can take that challenge. Because as scientists and engineers, we learn a particular way to think. We learn a way to study problems. We learn a certain way to problem solve that gives us an advantage in the workplace. It will certainly give us an advantage in the global workplace in being able to look at other opportunities, being able to find other technologies, products, goods, services that are out there in the world and find ways to apply those back here at home to make our economy here in the United States globally competitive again. Thank you very much.
As the eldest of 5, I've had the opportunity to help 3 sisters also get a college degree and a brother get a college degree. Not too bad from 2 parents who came to a country who had no idea what they were going to be doing, who met working in the fields in California, had to get up at 5 a.m. to work in dirt, basically, to have food on the table that those of us take for granted. And I don't think they did too bad. I think I'm doing pretty good. Okay, so I'm looking forward to you guys taking over, and the room's getting a little cooler. Sorry I got emotional, but you know, I haven't seen my parents in a while, so I get all misty, I guess that's part of the reason. So coming up next, I'm going to introduce a professor from St. Peter's College who's going to guide you for the next discussion on a path to innovation. And so please, Professor, join me in the panel.
Thank you, Marianne. Good morning. Look at all those bright faces out there. I can't wait to have you in my class in another year or 2. Well, I am a
technology and ideas that have changed the world in remarkable ways. From the transistor that is the heart of every device you carry, to the cellular network that you use every day to place phone calls, to those automated response systems you love to hate, to lasers, the little devices that make your digital cameras work, the MP3 audio format that's how you listen to music on your iPod, solar cells that will give us renewable energy. Those are all things that came out of AT&T. It's the operating systems that power the many servers that our friends at Google use to provide your search capabilities. It's the programming language that forms the basis for all those apps on your iPhones and iPads. AT&T innovations have and will continue to make their way into your everyday experiences. Now, the innovation process at a big company is pretty complex. It's really almost a dance, a tango, if you will, between short-term financial needs and the desire for the company to be around 10, 20, 30, 40, 100 years from now.
To make up
We're continually looking at new products and services.
We want to make money, right? How many of you own a smartphone versus a flip phone? How many of you buy apps, download apps? How many of you only download them if they're free? How many of you have bought an app in the last week, the last month? How much would you say that marketplace on your little iPhone or Droid or whatever is worth? How much do you think is going through that marketplace right now? Who has a guess? A lot is about right. Guess, how much? How many? Billions. How many billions? Okay, it's $8 billion last year. It'll be $14 billion at the end of this year and a $36 billion marketplace in just under 2 years. Something that didn't even exist 5 years ago, sorry. The point about innovation is one, obviously that we have to be there. We're buying, right? You're downloading and you're like, listen, you know, Bobby, could I spend $1.29 on this? All right, this is $2.99, right? You're there. But have you thought about how that marketplace could be a place to
But
sell?
she figured a man with a mustache must be Hispanic. And she found him, and in fact, yes, he did speak Spanish. And he helped her get out of the subway. The other thing she remembers struggling with was going once to the post office to buy a stamp. And at that time, the stamp was 13-cent stamp. And the word 13 for a person whose native language is Spanish is a very hard word. 13. And she remembers going up to the counter and asking for that stamp, and the woman would not help her. Did not understand what she was trying to say. And at that day, she decided she was going to sign up for after-work classes to learn English. And that's how she learned English. And now all she does is read books in English and watches the soap operas on the American channel, not on the Hispanic channels, in fact. So what I want to point out actually with my board up here is not just to show you the path that I took, but also those choices I didn't make, because I think there's a lot to be gained also from the choices we don't make in our lives. So I'll highlight both of them. So what would have happened if my parents didn't come to the US?
Bueno, el evento hoy día está bien organizado. Esa organización de Chile, Congressional Hispanic Leadership Institute, has a wonderful program that outreaches to college students and high school students. Hoy día estamos aquí con mucha gente de high school y los estudiantes están muy interesados a saber cómo se puede entrar el marketplace en la área de STEM. ¿Cuál es STEM? Es Science, Technology, Engineering and Math. Entonces, la comunicación hoy día fue sobre de la globalización de corporaciones y cómo se afecta STEM en las corporaciones. Entonces, ese fue muy bien. Son muchos estudiantes que están interesados en el currículo de STEM hoy día y eso está súper importante a comunicar ese mensaje.
Vimos muchos panelistas de grandes empresas, General Electric, Google, bueno, grandes personalidades del sector, pero personalmente, ¿cómo te sientes tú que te hayan escogido a ti como, primero como Randall Berman y segundo como parte de Continental?
Bueno, para mí personalmente fue un gusto. Yo soy muy orgulloso que Chile me pidió a participar en este evento. Para mí personalmente, a dar algo a esos estudiantes para impresionar a ellos, para afectar el futuro de ellos, yo soy muy orgulloso. Para la compañía de Continental Food and Beverage, igual yo creo que es tan importante porque siempre Continental Food and Beverage está dirigiendo algo a la comunidad, siempre presente en la comunidad. Es el eslogan de nosotros. Entonces, un evento como eso, donde nosotros podemos participar con estudiantes que no están seguros en qué dirección quieres ir, y para enseñar que hay un gran futuro en los currículos de STEM, Science, Technology, and Engineering and Math.
Estuvimos presentes en la conferencia y vimos que tuviste varios apuntes interesantes que fueron aplaudidos por la audiencia y por los mismos panelistas, referente a tips que tú puedas usar en tu futuro. ¿Quieres darnos otra vez esos tips para la cámara? 2 o 3 tips.
Bueno, lo más importante, yo creo que es uno que es súper importante, es el talento de escribir. Que la juventud hoy día, que está acostumbrada a escribir en el texto, en el email, está usando muchas abbreviations. Ellos necesitan estudiar la forma de escrito formal. Es muy importante, es un arte que está saliendo afuera de las comunidades y la juventud hoy día. Entonces, ese es el primero. Segundo, que yo le digo a ellos es cómo digerir su historia. Todo el mundo tiene una historia de su pasado, de su futuro, de su familia, de su carrera. Aprende cómo digerir su historia cuando tú estás presentando para una aplicación de trabajo y cuando estás encontrando gente en un networking event. Aprender cómo a digerir su historia. Learn how to tell your story.
Randy, muchas gracias y será para una próxima vez. Mi nombre es Carlos Plaza.